Hey everybody, how's it going? Hey, bring Steve in. Let's put us this way. Let's see, which is the best? Yeah, this way. How's it going, Steve?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Good. Is my audio okay? I'll bring that microphone a little closer. Is that
Loud
better?
and clear. Loud and
All right.
clear.
So, welcome everybody. So, yeah, what is this? So, I'll tell you what this is. This is what happens when like two guys just start talking about. We have these conversations about the Bible all the time, and I don't know. I actually had started on that intro a while back and never did anything with it because I didn't find the time or effort to do this show. And then Steve said we should do a show like this. And so that's the intro might change, but for now, that's what I put together at midnight last night. So deal with it. But yeah, so basically the idea is this. There's a lot of people that don't read the Bible or haven't even picked it up or don't care to, and that's fine. But what we thought we'd do, because there is a stream currently right now, Karen B is doing a channel where she talks about like the breakdown of the words and so forth. And what we wanted to do was look at it as a more literal sense and give you our opinions on what we think's going on in the passages. And I'll tell my background real quick. To anybody that doesn't know, I've never been religious. Still, am not. I was born and raised Jewish, but we weren't really practicing except the special days. And then we really stopped. And I really never. I was always spiritual, but never bought into any religion. And then I fast forward to this process that we're going through. Some call it awakening process, whatever you want to call it. And all of the information I was looking into eventually led me back to there's a spiritual battle in the world, and so or the earth. And so I started looking into it, and then I, like everything else in the earth, the world, the fake world, whenever they try to tell me don't look at something, look at this, it's like a magician trick. So when the entire world is telling you not to look at this, including people, in our community, because, let's face it, this book has been decimated over the years. Words have been changed, Mandela effect, grabbled, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, when I started reading it with no religious background whatsoever to unlearn, I found it not only fascinating, the stories are exciting, fun, as bad anything you'd find on any movies that you'd watch.
Mm.
And what's amazing, it's the only book that I've ever found that you can open it up and it'll be talking about things in your life right now and actually sometimes give you the answer you're looking for. So when they say it's the living word of God, even though it's been changed over the years, it's almost like, I don't know how to describe it, Steve. You can tell me if you feel this, but sometimes to me, when I read, like, I know you can watch a movie, especially like a spy movie, and maybe the second time you watch it, you go, "Wow, I didn't even see that last time," right? And when I read the passage of the Bible, sometimes there's like a whole story that I must have glazed over when I was reading it. It didn't register because sometimes it's like there's new passages to me about stories that, not that I'm saying that there's new words in the Bible, but things that I didn't pay attention to the first time. And now when I'm paying attention to it, they line up exactly with what's going on in my life and everyone's life. So, anyways, that's my information. What do
No,
you go ahead, Steve?
no, that's good because I
Tell
can
us your
relate.
background and everything too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can relate 100% because that you said you could open to pretty much any verse, any book, any chapter in the Bible and just read it, and it applies to a situation you've either been through, going through, or about to go through without you even knowing it. And that's like the it's like the everlasting like word of God, like you said before, or something along those lines. So it falls into play very well. And yeah, my whole background on knowledge of the Bible and just reading it, it actually goes back a long ways. I attended Catholic schools for a long time, K through 8, pretty much, and we had religion class, and like I said, it was Catholic, so we kind of went through all the steps that way. But even back then, being a kid, I just always thought, there's something wrong about all these like things that we have to do here. These sacraments, you do this, you do that, and growing up in a kid, there was we weren't allowed to read Revelations. I don't think we probably weren't allowed to read Job. Now that I'm looking at it now, but other books like that, we weren't allowed to read them.
Too scary?
I don't know. They always it just didn't sit with me well. And then after that, I went to public schools for just high school, and didn't really pick up the Bible or think much of it then. Made my confirmation, but kind of fell away from all that. But I started just noticing little things, putting dots together, opening doors that I didn't think were there before. Just checking out the whole realm. I don't want to get this show effed up, but the whole September event, Boston, that town in Connecticut, that all happened, through my childhood and up until high school and whatnot. And even looking at those back then, I was like, something just doesn't really sit right. And these guys, and I want to keep this show kind of like, good hearing, but they F themselves in their A, because they made their plans and their scheme and their anti-God agenda way too obvious, to that where I was like, okay, there is a creator. There is a almighty superpower, of good, of light, and they're trying to just erase that or replace that, perhaps, and they can't do what he does, but they can sure make it seem like they can. So they're using all their wills, all their powers to, represent the other side. The reason probably why we weren't allowed to read Job and Revelations growing up. It talks about all the, who's the second main character in Job. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Keeps messing with him to and fro, up and down in the earth. That guy. We're gonna talk about him in Luke 10 as well. But
Well, and
then,
don't forget the biggest lie. Oh, sorry. I was just saying the biggest lie of all, to take you away from the existence of the Creator, is we live on a ball, which is another name for
flat
Satan.
Earth. Yes. Well, when I got into flat Earth in like 2014, 15, when I started doing videos, that was when I started to look at the word more. I was looking at it more for research purposes. So I was it dipped me back into that whole, flat Earth, firmament. I'm like, okay, it's matching up in here, so it's probably matching up out here as well. So I kind of just rolled with that. But I did probably like 2 years of paranormal research, and the last bid that we did, honestly, that really brought me straight back to God and the Bible and the scriptures and everything, because that stuff, sometimes you got to realize the dark is actually right there to know that, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the interesting thing, that so many people that even people that don't listen, like some of the things that we may discuss on here, if you believe in a creator, excuse me, you have to believe in the other side, like good, evil, bad, good. You know what I mean? It's like there's two flips to a coin. You can't believe in one and not think the other exists.
Well, see, oh, sorry, no,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I got duped, because when you're doing like paranormal research and stuff like that, their consensus is, there's God and angels, and there's demons and fallen entities and stuff like that. But then there's then there's familiar spirits, ones that are in the middle, that aren't good, that aren't bad, and those are the ones that'll actually attach themselves to you, and you can move 2,000 miles away and you still get the same thing happening to you, because it's a familiar spirit. It became an attachment and disguised itself as, a child or your grandma or something like that. And now you're dealing with something nefarious, and you don't realize that. Sometimes people will never realize that, because they'll just it'll just control their lives so much. It's just a whole can of worms for another show. But it's just sometimes, like I was just before I was saying, you gotta go through the darkness, realize the darkness, and understand exactly what the darkness really is. It's not fun and games down there, there's not middle entities. It's good and it's bad. The good guys, I'm pretty sure they're hanging out up here. The bad guys, they're all over the place right now. So you really can't even. Well, again, that's why people get lost too. UFOs. I don't think those are from heaven, but then again, I don't know. I just got here 26 years ago.
Well, the thing is too, and that's another chapter we can cover, but towards the end days, God says you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to choose. You can't hot or cold, lukewarm, and he's going to spit you out of his, or spew you now, I guess, spew out of his mouth. So it's like, that's why I felt compelled to do this now. What happened was, in my transgression of these shows, or whatever the word is, the transitions of these shows, um, I started with, I was a call in, and then I just started doing videos with memes with no talking. Then I started talking. Next thing you know, I did live shows, which I really didn't, originally didn't want to do, but I'm enjoying them. And we do that, and we have a good time. There's games and fun and all kinds of stuff. But I started realizing, even though I do a prayer at the end of the show, we really got away from my whole reason of starting this, was that I got this information and I wanted to share it with people. And to me, the end all is that there's a creator and they need to get on board. And lately I'm seeing signs that it seems like it's amping up whatever the agenda is coming. And so I wanted to basically get back to my roots. And I'll talk about it, sure, on my Friday shows like I did last Friday. But this is nice that we can have just this. If everyone likes it and you want us to do it again. But basically, we're going to read this passage with you, and we're going to stop it and break it down and give you our ideas and thoughts, and interact with you guys, and then go from there. So that's the thoughts.
Okay. You said something about the line in the sand. Did you want to tackle that later on?
Oh, you want to talk about it? Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, you said you had we could bring it up later, so I just got some notes aside, so we can hit that after.
Sure.
This is the last year or so has been amazing with that whole situation.
All right. Well, yeah, let's do it at the end, and we can kind of end it out with that.
Yeah.
Let's break into this. And only water tonight. See, staying sober.
Okay, I got some iced tea.
I do Oreos on the other nights. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here? I
got my Bible open over here. We got the app open there, so we're ready to go.
I am going to bring this up. Okay, so that's. Oh, okay, that's what we're going to talk about too. We mentioned. Oh, wait, you got to let me go back into here and get us off the screen. That way.
You can do that, okay. And then hit the little hide icon.
I'm going. I know you said that last. Okay. So basically, and if Steve, you want to go ahead and do the breakdown, we're going to give you, like, if this were a series and we kind of brought you in right in the middle here, this is like what happened in the previous last season on Luke. So go ahead and tell us, give us some context of where we're heading here.
Okay. Well, I'll back it up a little bit before Luke 9, but I'll just do a little, like, sort of disclaimer, just in case there's people who've never read the Bible or anything like that. This is, like we said, this is the book of Luke. This is one of the Gospels. I think this is the second Gospel in the New Testament, something like that. And so right before this all, what we're going to get into, I think it was just 2 or 3 chapters back, it was pretty much just Jesus doing his thing. It said he became 30. He John the Baptist was mentioned earlier. They went through his whole upbringings and whatnot. And so a couple, it's just interesting how they don't tell how much time goes by in the Bible. I was going to say a couple weeks. Who knows? It could have been a couple days. Could have been the same day. Jesus is on the beach, and he doesn't have disciples yet, and I think it's Simon Peter and a couple other of the disciples. They're fishing. They're not really having good luck out there, and I think all Jesus does, he just signals, put your line on the other side of the boat, and it almost drowned the boat. They had to get 1 or 2 other boats to help bring him ashore, and right then and there, Simon Peter was like, "Whoa, all right, so we're gonna hang out with this guy over here because he kind of knows what he's talking about." And some people get deceived by that because they're like, "Oh, seems like this guy's just in it for money." But I don't think so. I think he was convinced right then and there, like, this guy is, cream of the crop, the bee's knees. So that's kind of what's happening right before here. And then he gets into a couple of workings in chapter 9. I don't know if you want to tackle that before, but I was saying at the very beginning, they were mentioning John the Baptist. And Actually, at the very
Yeah.
beginning of this was like most of the Gospels, the actual conception of Jesus,
Yeah.
manger, and John. He was born just a few years or maybe a couple months prior, perhaps.
Just yeah, it seemed like months, and that's a cool
Yeah.
thing. Again, I didn't know this until I read this, that they're related in a way
Oh yes,
uh,
yes. They actually
because
taught us that in
John's
school. One
yeah,
of the
I
things
didn't
they
know
actually
that till
taught
I.
us.
That's wild. Yeah, I just learned that in the last few years when I started reading it. But John the Baptist, his his mom is Jesus's sister, mom, whatever, Mary,
His
and
aunt. So they're
his aunt.
cousins.
They're cousins, right? And so the cool thing is, and we'll go over it. I guess I'm spoiler alert from if we go back over this chapter, but like when they meet and John's in her still, she's pregnant when she meets Mary, who now is going to have Jesus. Her baby leaps inside her womb and gets all excited when the sisters when they meet. So it's really cool. But the reason that's important is for some reason, and again, I'm still learning these things. John was appointed to like tell everyone he's coming, and he's the guy that was baptizing people and doing a lot of Jesus-like works before him. And then when Jesus shows up, he's the one that baptizes him, and he says, "There's
Yes.
someone coming that I can't even tie the shoes on
Oh,
lace his shoes. He's that amazing. You think I'm something? I'm nothing to what this guy is." And so that's their relation. And then, like
yes.
you said, then he's already going around doing some stuff. Now he's got all these people that he's done miracles, and they're like, "Okay, dude, we're in. What do you want us to do?" And that's where we pick up, basically,
Mm.
right?
Yeah,
And,
well, and real quick, I just want to mention and talk about the naming of John himself,
yeah, that was cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
we should start there, I guess. The title is wrong. Okay, I might change. I won't change it. Just
No, we're good. We're
we're
good.
good. Yes, no, it's a fun story. Tell him I love this one. Yeah.
Well, from what I got, what his dad was
Oh, I had a weird
deaf,
name.
or was he blind? He was something was up with him.
No,
And
no, no. I'll
and
tell you. Okay, I'll do it. Here, we're quick. So it's one of those stories again, and the Bible, just like history, keeps repeating itself. If you go back to the stories of Abraham, his wife laughed when God said, "You're going to have so many children." She's like, "I'm an old woman,"
yeah,
and
because she
then
was old. Because she was old too. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. And so now you fast forward. I'll have to look up their names. I can't think of it. It's a really weird name, like Zachariah or something. And same thing with his wife. God says, "You guys," because they never had children, but they lived these righteous lives. He's like, "You're gonna have children." And they're like, "No, we're old. It's not gonna happen." And he's like, "Fine. You have no faith in me all of a sudden. Shut up," basically. And he zips his mouth and he says, "Now you can't talk until your child's born, and you have to name it John." This is what God tells him, and he shuts him up. And then he walks out because he's the guy who used to go in the church and he'd light all the incense and stuff
Yes.
and put them out. And so he took forever to exit, I guess, one day. And God was in there talking to him. And when he came out and he couldn't speak, everyone knew he had a vision because he's basically going, something like that. And so that's what happens. And so it's not until his baby's born, and then they're
He-
gonna his wife, whatever her name is, I forgive me, she wants to name him John, and
They were like, "Oh
they're like,
crap!"
"No, we're not going to name him John. We're going to name him something else," because he wrote down John. That's what he can talk.
Yes,
And
on the
they're
scribe.
like, "We're not going to name him John. Nobody in your family's named John. That's stupid." And finally, that's when I forget if he says it or if God opens his mouth first. But I think he opens his mouth and he says, "Name him John," and then he could talk again. And so that's like really, I thought, cool story. So that's how he got his
Yes,
name.
and all the people were flabbergasted. They're like, "Oh boy, like this is going to
Yeah.
be something intense," which is more of the reason why they were kind of skeptical when they were saying someone even higher is going to come by and baptize me. And John was saying, they're like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
You're like your birth like fixed your debt. You know what I'm saying? And then it
Yeah.
happened, and they're like, "Okay." And
Yeah.
cool part was how the Holy Spirit descended on them like a dove, and
Yeah.
we're told to be wise as serpents and gentle as doves, which is something I have I wouldn't say an issue with, but just sometimes it's hard to be gentle as a dove,
Oh
especially
yeah.
2021.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what this mind,
Yeah.
psychology thing is about, is trying to make us like that. But that's another reason why I felt this was really important to
Yes.
start discussing, because if they want to take us down some crazy loop where we fight each other and all this. If we get back into God and or the Creator, whatever you want to call him, if we get
Mm,
back into that spirituality, that's real, and they can't break that. And so all this other stuff a lot of times bounces off you. And it's if they can take the fake world where they want it to go, it could get a lot more difficult for a lot of us. And so that's why it's really important, I think, that we do this. So
yes, and I don't know if it was actually it somewhere earlier in this book, but it talks about how you're not supposed to like raise arms and go nuts and whatever. You're supposed to like just don't even like associate with it. So something that, I mean, it's they're kind of forcing this upon us, but it's a non-violent non-compliance is something that we should be looking for. Like, I don't think the word of God is supposed to be something that inspires us to go, like raid the Capitol or something,
yeah,
something ridiculous like that, which a lot of people are like, that has to be done. The people think that's what a revolution looks like, but a revolution actually looks like a group of 200 people, starting a reservation somewhere. Who
yeah,
even cares if it's chartered? If they're coming for us, well, let's at least hang out and kumbaya for a little bit before they're coming. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
Oh yeah,
everyone's trying to rush to the red light. I got a lot of friends that are like that, and it's disheartening. Like, why are we
yeah,
all rushing for this red light? It's this isn't the spot. This isn't the place. We're and I don't want to get too off track, but something I got reminded by today. I was listening to a stream earlier, and they were saying, a lot of people don't ask, like, why am I here? Where are
hmm
we going, and where did I come from? A lot of people just, are just all about, getting to their destination, or I gotta go to the bank, I got work, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. They don't sit down, and then when they get home, they sit down. Let's go watch 60 Minutes or whatever's on Lifetime, or sports, more sports. It's terrible. We're in this just materialistic, consumer based reality right now, and a lot of people, like I said, don't sit down and ask, like, where did I come from? Why am I here? And where are we
yeah,
going? Because where we're going is a really big question, but you're not going to understand exactly where we're going until you figured out where you come from and why we're here. I think we come from upstairs, perhaps, originally, whether we forgot our wineskins or not. I think we came
right.
from up there, and we were put down here for a test of some sort, or maybe this is the test to get granted back into heaven or into heaven, and we gotta, we came here to get something that you can't. I feel like if you go to heaven, there's no hunger, there's no suffering, there's no tears, there's no sorrow. You got to come down here and experience that for whether we chose to or whether we're chosen to. It's just all part of the journey.
Oh, I've talked almost exactly what you're saying there, and I've compared it to like that Harry Potter sorting hat. It's like I think God had to do that reset before, and he's just kind of tired of trying to who wants to be with him or not. Make your choice. And so, like you say, I think
Right?
part
He's
of
like, I'm
this,
right here.
yeah, you want to come. If you don't, it's fine. I've dealt with you before because your parents in the desert were pains in
Yes,
the butts too. And,
yes. It's that
and
attitude as well.
yeah, so I figure he's like, oh, I've talked about that one before. He gets so mad because he gets. Oh, we should cover that another. I could go an hour on coming out of Egypt. But basically, it's like this is a not just a test, like you say, but also like you said. I think at some point we were up there, whatever that means, and
Mm,
either we decided, hey, during the end times, I can help, and I want to go in, put me in, coach, or he chose us because he saw something in us we don't even know, maybe don't even see it yet, but he saw
yes,
something in us. Because if you read scripture, he uses who? The meek, the lame, the ones that no one cared about.
yes.
That not saying that's us, but
Well,
a
I
lot of
mean,
us,
in many
a lot of
ways,
us
I think
never,
we fit that. I think we
right? A lot
fit
of
that
us
bill.
never fit in, right? We always felt a little out of school and all that stuff, and so yeah,
A
so
little.
a little. Well, I'm trying to be nice. We're all people and humans in here. At least some of us. There's probably some
Ugh.
lizards in here somewhere. I got my eyes TJ Trusty in here. I'll keep an eye on him. But no. So it's like part of that is a test, but also part of it is for some reason we were chosen by ourselves or some other way, because we felt that we could do a service and help.
Yeah.
And what a really cool passage in the Bible was, it really helped me, because when I woke up to this nonsense, when you step outside the other side and you realize you pull the curtain back and there's just a dude.
Mm,
When I did that, I felt not only compelled to tell everyone, but it's like, um, you just have to, I think, otherwise you're like them. You know what I mean? That seems
yeah.
like our purpose in life is to try to have everyone wake up to the idea that the creator exists and bring home as many as we can. And that's the only reason I think we're here. Oh, that's what it was. When I read that, the passage, that's what I was trying to get to. So the passage was this, and it said that there's a lot of people in heaven and even in the earth that have died, and prophets over the years, and they've always wondered what generation is going to get to see this. And I truly believe this is it.
We're knocking
And
on the doors.
when I felt it at first, I was like, why me? Why me? Why am I here? And now I'm like, wow, how proud I am that we're here. We got to see it, because we all get to check out some way, right? None of us live forever. So let's go out with a sword in our hand with Jesus riding by our side, rather than not ever know that it was happening. What do you think?
No, I like that. I like that because I got a comical mind sometimes, and I could see something like this playing off. We're sitting down, upstairs, everything's all good. He's like, all right. He's like, I need volunteers, and we're like, doesn't even tell us what the plan is. We're like,
Yeah.
gotcha, right here. Like, are you sure? Like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, now you go into a deep sleep, and I don't tell you the plan. Now you're on Earth, figure it out. That that's just a funny dupe, and we're like,
Yeah.
yo, dude, like I need something down here. Like, honestly, it was fun. I listened to Richie say something a little earlier because he was just doing something with Days of Noah and Nick this morning, and he was like, sometimes I'll pray, and something will happen, and it's literally the answer to that prayer, but I'm still looking up. Like, can you text me that and make sure that was you? Like little clarity, just in case. Like I need that sign in the middle of the road that says,
Yeah.
"Hey, that was me." And
Yeah.
it's I feel the same way sometimes. It's like wait, like can you do that one more time? Just one more time.
Yeah.
Like I need a. I blinked. I wasn't looking.
I think we all feel that way. I think that, like, I always want to say, okay, when you answer me, if you do, when you answer me, can you make it obvious?
Right,
Don't give me
loud.
that like subtle stuff that I just like slap me on the side with the fish if you need to. Just but and every once in a while, and God is so funny. His sense of humor, the creator. I'm
Oh
trying
yeah.
not to use the word God, but whoever
He.
he
If you're
knows, I
saying it
know
with
his intent.
intention,
I know.
Yeah.
I'm the first person to definitely say that too. So you're right. But in any case, it's like he has such a sense of humor. And I remember one time my wife and I were driving somewhere, and she was praying for something, and we drove by. Of course, it's obvious, it's easy connection, but still, we drove by a church, and it had one of those signs, and it said something like, have you talked to Jesus today, or something. It's just like, and
Yeah.
you say, can you show me a sign, and then you actually see something like that. It's kind of funny. But yeah, there's a lot of coincidences that go on in your lives that just when you realize that the in order to get to from point A to point B, like for instance, my wife ran into one of my children, and we hadn't seen him in a little bit. Not there's a different this one we hadn't seen him while he's been working really hard and stuff, and because there was a letter that I hadn't mailed, and she had to go somewhere and then couldn't do the errand she wanted to do. She ended up completely doing something else and taking that letter to a place she would never go, and ran into him and had this really nice conversation, and a bunch of stuff went on from there. But just the fact that took like 2 days to finally get to where she connected and this a whole thing happened. It's pretty crazy when you think about, the 6 degrees of separation and how we're all cogs in a wheel, and this will affect this thing, but it might not be tomorrow. It might be 6 months from now, or it might be a year from now, or 10 years. That's why it's hard when people pray, because that is the power that we have. God says it. There's angels just sitting on the sidelines going, put me in, come on, pray, do something. I want to help. And we don't do it. And but just because you pray, and he's not like a magic genie, you don't just open your eyes and look around and see if it's no. Sometimes the timeline takes a while, and you just have to be patient
Yeah,
and be diligent in your prayer, and don't get upset. Just understand that the timeline is going to be different than you, probably for your benefit, even if you don't see it. And that's really difficult. That's the hardest part, I think.
absolutely. And something else that I always think about too is I like I said, I'm not the Bible whiz, but I know somewhere in there it says, every time you pray for forgiveness, or you're seeking the Lord, you're seeking to do better. There's angels who are just like going nuts upstairs, playing their
Right?
trumpets, rejoicing, like holy crap, man, like that's awesome. Like let
They
me go,
say
let
if
me
you
let me go
if
deliver your message hand like hand first, first
well,
hand.
they say if you help one child of God wake up and come home, they lose their nuts up there. They go crazy up there.
Dude, I sure hope so, because like the first like 22 years were rough. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and I mean, it's just that's honestly the best feeling for me too. Is like because I mean for every 1,000 people that we try to share our videos to who are sleeping, even when one or two hit me up like a year or two later, like, hey man, sorry about you know, saying this on your post, or, not taking it seriously. Now I see what you're saying, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about this? And it's a great feeling. I can only imagine what it's like up there, you're
Right?
going nuts, just,
Yeah.
and, um, even, even when I first started like hanging out with like Brian and stuff, and he's like, this whole Mandela thing is making me realize that there's other things at play, and that there must be a creator of some sort. And that was just like, that was awesome, like you don't have to like get too deep, but at the end of the day, like this isn't like a first first class punch ticket into heaven. But if you just acknowledge the creator and know that he came in a human form and died for all of us, like I think that that puts you in contention. You're in the draft. You're in the draft for sure. Probably not a first rounder if that's all you got, but I'm
Well,
not a first
well,
rounder either. Don't
no,
believe
but
me. I'll be.
they talk about that too. It's like you can axe alone won't get you your ticket in, as you say, and prayer alone and being right, that's not going to do it either. You need both.
You need a
You need
combo.
to show that this world, this spirituality, and God exists, and you also have to do something about it, because if you don't do anything and you just wait, you're like that guy. I told this story, I don't know if you heard it, where everyone's heard it probably, the guy that believed in God so much, and the floodwaters were rising, and these people came in a car and said, get in, you're going to die. And he's like, no, God will take care of me. And
Yeah.
then they go higher, and then a boat comes by and says, hey, get in, you're going to die. He said, no, God will take care of me. And then it goes to the roof, and a helicopter comes by and says, hey, he's no, God will take care of me. And then, of course, he drowns. And when he meets God, he's like, what happened? I was such a prayerful man and all that. And he's like, dude, I sent you a car, a boat, and a helicopter. What more did you want?
Right.
So at some point, we have to take responsibilities for our lives. That's the cool thing is, I know there's some people that think that, being in a like a terrarium is sucks, because we can't get out, we can't go anywhere, and he's in charge of wham wham wham. But at the same time, I look at it differently. First of all, there's a good number of us, if any of us, haven't even seen the whole world yet. At least the world they told us. I haven't seen it all, and there's a lot of areas of the oceans we've never discovered. And all these people
Imagine
that
that.
can't wait to go to Mars and Jupiter and all these
Imagine
places.
that.
You've never even traveled the place you have to live on. You're it's, once again, it's this me, right? We can't be satisfied with anything. Oh, this is nice, I want to see somewhere else, kind of thing. That kind of attitude. And so it's like we need to know where we live, and know that there's a creator there, and realize that the reason we're in a terrarium kind of place is for protect us. And
Mm.
how cool is that? Think about it. If you're a baby, and your father doesn't even go to work, he just watches over you all day long, 24/7, until you're old enough to walk on your own and stuff. He's there for everything you would ever need. and protects you. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. And in return, what does he ask? Hey, acknowledge me. Let me know I'm here. What am I, chopped liver? That's the old Jewish in me. But it's like he's like, you guys, I do everything, including gave you life, and you don't even know I'm here. And in fact, you start praying on these other things, these other idols, or these politicians or singers or whatever. It's like there's always this an idol. Screw that. Just remember I'm here. Talk to me once in a while. Would it kill you to pick up a phone? So it's like that's what I believe. This dome or whatever, the terrarium, however you want to see it, the Toronto field entrapment, whatever it is, it's to protect us. And damn it, let's explore this area with the help of the person that made it, rather than worrying about trying to get off of this planet. There's so much to do here.
Absolutely.
See? And we were worried that we were going to have enough. We're 30 minutes in and we haven't even looked at the Bible yet. You guys having fun? I hope you guys are enjoying this.
Oh, the chat's going nuts. You love to see it. 130 almost. It's good stuff. Good people.
Do you want to say hi to people? I'm getting some more ice water.
I've been. Yeah, I'll do it on here. I've been doing it in the chat, but here I'll scroll up.
Well, I'll just be gone for a second. I'll just go downstairs.
I'll scroll up a couple feet here. It's about a mile long, this chat. So we got True Seeker 69. What's going on, Jen? In the chat. Salted Cedar. Winston. What's going on, guys? Love to see you. I saw Zulon in here earlier. Or Zulu. Sorry, I'm like an idiot, but it's okay. Who else we got in there? I just saw Truth Loops, Algorithm. Good stuff. Good people. Michael L. Chad W. It's nice to see all you guys. DJ, how are you? Thanks for coming, everyone. This has been a great show so far. Who else is in the chat? Young Love 420. Yeah. I don't know how to say that. Kimra, Crushing the Liars. Zulon, yeah. There it is. See? Who else is there? Yeah. Chat's moving.
Okay.
Matt, Myaat. ATT.
I'm going to say hi on Rockfin, everyone. Glad you could join me there, too.
Rocking it out.
Okay. Where am I? Here I am. All right. Well, let's crack it open and see where we get. What do you think?
I'm ready. Luke 10. I'm geared up. I'm loaded.
Get this out here. Second. So what's really funny is when I started reading the Bible, I put it on my iPad or my phone because I like to do other things and play it out loud. And I kind of got stuck on this guy's voice. So I when I read the Bible now, I kind of hear it in his voice. Kind of funny. But
that happened to me with the Book of Enoch. There's like this dramatized version, and like every time I read it, it's just like
I watched that video. I know what you're talking about. I watched that one.
It's like the most shared one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and Michael came down from heaven. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna try to do here is
Luke 10.
There he is.
Play that, and I'll bring this down so you can hear it really good, and then I'll bring it up on the screen. And Ya's child just watched that when you were talking about. She said, so
"That's beautiful."
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Okay, share screen, and okay.
Look at that.
So I'll pull this up. That's 9. There's 10. Okay.
Damn.
So basically, I'll just play it. If you want to say you want to jump in, and I'll stop it. But we'll just go a few.
Okay.
Yeah, let me fix this over here. Hold on a second. Technical difficulties, people.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
What's really funny is it's like I don't know. I still barely know what I'm doing, but I didn't know how to do any of this stuff just like a year ago. So it's pretty wild that I can even.
Honestly, me neither. I kind of just picked up on it quick. I was like, all right, this is nice.
Right. Okay. All right. So let's see.
All right. We're still on the
After
screen, by
these
the way.
things, the Lord appointed other 7.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, just you want to make it a little bit bigger.
Zoink.
There you go.
And go to here, and then get rid of this because Steve hates it. Now,
it's for everyone.
I know. How's the audio?
He also and sent them 2 and 2.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad.
We're good? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Luke 10. After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 and 2 before his face into every city and place, whither he himself would come. Therefore said he unto them, The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Go your ways, behold, I send you forth as lambs among wolves.
Okay. You first. What do you got going on that?
Oh man. I mean, so I mean, I'll just dip into number 3 real quick because it just it says it sends you forth as lambs among wolves, which is kind of like the opposite of what you hear a lot. You hear a lot of people say there's wolves in sheep's clothing and whatnot. So
right.
that one it always just stuck out to me. So and the whole thing with the harvest and the laborers in the harvest, I kind of get a little confused. Is he talking about just like hardworking people? And
well, no. Here, okay. I mean, no. Obviously, it's my opinion, your opinion. Nobody's
Yes.
right or wrong. What it goes to me, it goes along with what you were just saying about the number 3. So as he's describing it, think of it like you're saying, rather than the way we're told, there's just a few bad apples, a few wolves amongst all of us sheep. What he's saying is there's going to be very few of us speaking God's word. Everyone else is either asleep or a wolf, basically. We're the lamb. We're the voice of God.
okay.
And there's very few. We're lambs amongst wolves, because if you start speaking this way about God and Jesus and the Bible, you become shunned, because Jesus says the world hated him. And if you love him, the world's going to hate you. And so that's kind of the way I'm seeing this. I'm deciphering it as, like you said, the wolf connects to this. There's very few laborers. That's us. So pray to the Lord of the harvest that he'd send more of us to help, because it's going to get really tough.
More now. Yes.
That's how I see it.
No, I agree too. I agree with that, because I was just a little thrown off by the second verse there. But and the whole thing with the wolves thing too. So like, they send us forth as lambs amongst wolves. Then it goes into well, it doesn't go into it, but then you have the whole Mandela thing. The lion lays with what is it? The wolf and the lamb, or right?
It was lion and lamb, and then it became wolf. Yeah.
Yeah. So right here is proving that doesn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying?
I just want to thank Morgan. Thank you very much. That's really nice. And whatever we do, Steve and I'll split whatever this ends up, however this works. But it seems like that's a reoccurring thing. Wolf, and with the Mandela effect, missing S's and adding S's, and there's certain things that seem to be a repeat pattern kind of thing. So, all right, should we?
If you're good, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, okay. Where are we at here? Let's go back.
We're at 4. Oh, you took us off the screen.
I'm
just over here reading it on my end.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
So we'll do this. Oh wait. Yeah, I put it the right way. This way. And hi. Okay, so we're on 4. So now he's talking about. So he's sending. Because isn't he talking to the disciples? So he's sending the disciples off, preaching the word of God as sheep, as lambs amongst all the wolves, because you're not going to be accepted. Yeah. You're really going to have to work at this. And so now he's going to tell them what they're supposed to do when they go. But the correlation to what we're experiencing in real life right now, to me, is you just can't miss it. So
Carry neither purse, nor scrip, nor shoes, and salute no man by the way. And into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, Peace be to this house. And if the Son of Peace be there, your peace shall rest upon it. If not, it shall turn to you again. And in the same house remain, eating and drinking such things as they give. For the laborer is worthy of his hire. Go not from house to house.
And see, right there, he's saying you go into the house of the town and you speak your truth. And if they don't accept you, well, I guess he says that later, but if they accept you, go in, eat what you're given, right? Isn't that what your mom always said? You get what you get, you don't pitch a fit. So it's like if they serve you something you don't normally eat, be nice, be courteous, eat what you can. Don't piss and moan and say, whatever, I'm a pescatarian or whatever. You know what I mean? And then he says, but you're worthy of anything they give you. It's not like they're giving it to you at charity. You're doing a job and you are worthy of the hire. That's what I hear. He's basically saying you're being hired to speak the word of God, and we'll take care of you along your journey. Just be accepting of whoever takes you in or whatever they feed you. That's right.
Yes. And in Luke 10:4 here,
10:4.
10:4. I know. Carry neither purse nor scribe nor shoes, and salute no man by the way. It it just shows the purity of those men, and a lot of people would be like, hey, what do you mean don't carry my I need money. It's like, how am I going to teach them their ways so I don't have a scribe? Well, if you were listening to me the whole time, you got the message, you should know the scribe. So it kind of shows, or shoes, you're just going in there doing your thing, you're not, and salute no man along the way. Something that's always shouted out to me multiple times in the Bible. It's trust in the Lord and Jesus. Don't trust in man here on earth. So don't even give them that gratitude anyways. So it just shows the type of person that these disciples were, and that if they could do that, they could pretty much almost do anything at that point for the word of God. So it's almost a test in a way,
Yeah.
See if they're if they're I wouldn't say worthy, but fit, fit for the role that they're going to be playing out here through the next couple of months or short years of Jesus's rest of his life here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
10:4. Okay.
10:4. 10:4.
All right. So let's see. We'll keep going here.
And into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you, eat such things as are set before you, and heal the sick that are therein, and say unto them, The kingdom of God is come nigh unto you. But into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you not, go your ways out into the streets of the same, and say, Even the very dust of your city, which cleaveth on us, we do wipe off against you. Notwithstanding, be ye sure of this, that the kingdom of God is come nigh unto you. But I say unto you, that it shall be more tolerable in that day for Sodom than for that city.
So that's pretty cut and dry right there. So if you go to a place and they shun you, not only do you walk away, you kick the dust literally off your feet, and you turn back and you go, dude, you better shape up, because what's coming for you, I don't even want to be anywhere close to when wrath hits you. Because Sodom and Gomorrah, that was messed up. I mean, supposedly, I watched, not only there's a video of somebody that went and saw that area. It's still online, I believe, on YouTube. And they find the sulfur balls, and they just burn forever. And then I think it was Karen and Just Jack Flat. They had a piece of sulfur, a tiny piece. And not only did it stink because it can kill you, the gases from it.
Yeah.
It just like it was almost overpowering this tiny piece. So I can imagine it must have been unbelievably horrific what happened there. And yet he's saying, "Oh, well, you ain't seen nothing yet." Like, what does that even mean?
And another thing is about Sodom and Gomorrah. The whole Sodom thing is Lot's wife. She was turned to a pillar of salt if just for looking at it. So if something that terrible and atrocious is going to come upon the cities that don't accept the disciples and whatnot, it's that's just amazing to think about, because they were there before, after Sodom and Gomorrah, so they know, you know,
Yeah.
unless the coup was already going on and history was already being taught their way, and
Oh, it made them so they didn't know about it. That could be.
yeah. Oh, look at those mounds over there in Jordan, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, just like Pompeii, we know it wasn't a giant volcano killing everyone, so maybe that was the same kind of stuff.
Could have. Yeah.
Who knows? Okay, moving on.
We're good. Where are we at? We're at 13 now.
Yeah,
correct?
I'm moving up. There we go.
Woe unto thee, Chorazin! Woe unto thee, Bethsaida! For if the mighty works had been done in Tyre and Sidon, which have been done in you, they had a great while ago repented, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. But it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon at the judgment than for you. And thou, Capernaum, which art exalted to heaven, shalt be thrust down to hell.
Now that doesn't sound so good either.
No. No, it doesn't.
I mean, trust me, in no circumstances, any way, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I'm not going to hell. But I definitely don't want to be thrust down to hell. That's just so many bad things about that sentence.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of sounds like that Tyre and Sidon. Seems like they kind of have it rough, but that's nothing compared to what Capernaum and whatever associated cities are like that are gonna be suffering.
And I'd also, one of these days, somebody's already done a study on it, but there's something about ashes, because in the Bible, whenever someone, like when Lot's covered in sores, he put ashes on his injuries. And when someone's like distraught, they put ashes on themselves. And here it's like when you're repenting, you sit in sackcloth and ashes. So there's something about that, because they would put ashes on themselves. Now, of course, the religion, they grabbed that and they morphed it into put an ash cross on your head on a certain day of the week. That's not what we're talking about. These people cover themselves in ashes for some reason, in healing or in repenting. Yeah, I don't know. Have you seen that, Steve? Too? Or you haven't seen it, but have you heard of this?
I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, I was reading. I was just getting ahead of the scriptures, but yes, I have. Yes, I have, with the ash and the repenting. Yes, I have heard of that. I haven't seen it. I've been like locked up on a tribe doing it, but yeah.
No. Okay, we're moving on.
He that heareth you heareth me, and he that despiseth you despiseth me, and he that despiseth me despiseth him that sent me.
That's a pretty easy one to understand, but really, really powerful.
Absolutely.
Right?
And yes. So I'm just reading real quick. Okay, so that's all in red. So Jesus is saying this right now. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, isn't it weird that it's not red on this? Usually it is. So.
Yeah, so that's intense, If he's saying that, I'd probably listen.
I think all the way to 17 is him talking, and then they ask him questions, and you can hear when he's responding. I'm sorry it's not highlighted in red, but you guys will figure it out. You're a pretty smart group.
Yeah, I'm sure a couple of these people got their.
Oops, sorry.
No, so I was just gonna say a couple of these people have probably got their Bibles out reading along. So.
Oh, excellent! Yeah. Okay.
And he that despiseth me despiseth him that sent me. And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name.
Now, right there, that was a big thing for me, because he's telling you straight up that the people come to him and say, wow, if we invoke your name, and I understand that's not his real name. None of us actually know his real name. That's written. Even when we say Yahweh and Yeshua and all that, we're still just guessing. It's better than the ones that we know that are wrong, But in the end of the day, it's about intent. And if you feel comfortable saying Jesus and you're talking to the same person that we are and everyone else, that's fine. God will know it's about the intent. Same thing with God. I'm trying not to use that word as much, but if I use it, it's not like he's going to go, oh, I didn't realize. I thought you were talking to me. You're talking to that pagan God. No, he knows he's God. Okay. He knows. So, but when he says here that he gives us the power to tread on serpents and scorpions. Oh, wait, I went ahead. The devils are subject unto us through thy name. So use whatever name works for you in your head that you're comfortable with. But it says if you invoke Jesus' name, they run from us. And we got to remember that's a huge power that we have. Huge.
Yes, it is, and
that's why they want you to not to understand any of this and not listen to the Bible and not believe in a Jesus, because that's that's your nuclear weapon you have in your pocket, right?
Absolutely. And this whole like sleep paralysis thing that started a couple years ago, right when Wi-Fi and 5G were getting their upgrades and whatnot, but that's besides the point. People were getting these like attacks at night and whatever, and they're going to the doctor, getting medicine. People who realized that was not the cure, that was just making it more intense or just tolerable. People who understood that was some sort of electronic / spiritual attack. They seeked help that way, and when they invoked it said the name Jesus, it stopped. And I've heard a lot of alien-ish, not alien, but when something takes you away, for a little bit, you can't remember, and they said the name Jesus and they snapped out of it. And it's crazy. I had a dream where I was getting attacked by an unseen force, and all I did was think of his name, and I woke up immediately. It's it works. It really does.
By the time I got here, you finished the story. I wanted to see you when you were talking about this. It's
That's
pretty
okay.
wild.
Yeah,
but no, you're not alone. There's a lot of people in my family even that have had that sleep paralysis. And I've talked to people on shows and stuff where not only is it a paralysis, but some people are seeing entities, male, female, children, whatever, climbing on them, holding them down, that kind of thing.
Imagine that,
Yeah. I actually had the first one I ever. I guess this is the Bible place to talk about these things. I had a dream, because what's interesting, I don't dream nearly as much as I ever used to in the last few years. But when I do dream, it's usually something important, or it's like it's so memorable. And I had this dream where my wife and I had gone to a party, and we were leaving, and I left my keys in the house, and I went back in, and the woman of the house came out, barely dressed, all trying to seduce me. And I looked at her and I pushed her away and said, "Get away from me." And she turned into this like monster, like succubus, I found out later, creature. And I woke up, of course, scared the crap out of me. And then talking about it on other streams, other people have experienced it, and you can actually look it up. It's called the succubus, and they do supposedly like sirens and stuff, and they feed off your energy.
Real thing.
Yeah. And so something like that happens and you're freaking out, yell out Jesus. What could it hurt, right?
I mean, yeah. When I was getting messed with in my dream, like I just thought it. I didn't even say it. I just thought it, and bam, good to go.
Yeah.
The creepiest part was like it was at my job, and then I woke up and it was time to go to work, and I was like,
That's funny. Well, sometime we can go over dreams too, because I actually, my wife she has ones that come true, and that's pretty freaky, man.
Same.
And that happened in the last few years.
I call those like dips in the Matrix or something. I don't know,
Yeah. Seeing that cat walk by twice ain't nothing compared to having a dream verbatim come to life, and just you sit back and you go, "I've been here,"
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, sometimes you can relate those to like deja vu events. It's I haven't had one of those in a while, but when they do, sometimes it's like intense, man. It's like a whole vibe, and it's like I'm freaked the out. You
And
know what
that's
I'm
the thing.
saying?
That's the whole reason I started talking about this, about reading the Bible and stuff, is not because I grew up in a religious dogma. It's because weird stuff happened to me in my real life that could only
Yeah,
be
bro. That's
explained by
what
a
I'm saying.
creator. So, of course, I got to pick this. He says, hey, maybe you should look at it. Hell yeah, I'm going to look at it. The other side doesn't want me to. It seems no brainer to check it out, you know? But that's why I got spiritual, is because he messed with things in my life, in my face, you couldn't ignore. Things that happened together, like when my wife and I would see him in real time together and we'd look at each other. That just happened, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll read the Bible and you can tell me it's been grappled, but guess what? You're not going to unconvince me, because I've had actual weirdness in my life you can't explain away because King James wrote that. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me
Yeah.
because there's another level to this. And the God that I believe in, that created everything, even if they mess with this book, you don't think he can still get his word out? Are you kidding me? Oh, he can't do that. He can do everything else. He can't make it so you can still read his word. Now, he does say there'll be a day you won't be able to get it. I don't know why, but he does. But for now, it's here, and there are words in here that are helpful. So, sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, we don't even know if this King James guy, first of all, ever existed, or B,
Exactly.
even wrote the Bible. You know, maybe this is the untouched word of God, but they're like, let's just throw this Mason's name on there to f with them. I could see them doing
Absolutely.
that.
Why not?
Maybe they haven't demented the word of God. Because a lot of people are like, you trust that? You don't trust the history books. I'm like, bro, think of the easiest way to put a dupe on everyone. You just put it's the King James Bible. That'll deter mad people away.
It
King,
does.
Masons, all those people. And then at the same time, they took out so many books. Like Jasher. Is Jasher?
Enoch.
Yeah, Enoch. The book of Adam and Eve. Like that's interesting. What happens to Adam and Eve and Adam through the first couple of days when they were in and out of the garden, realizing what
And
they were
also,
actually dealing with.
Just like the Bible, what do they tell you? Even if you read the Bible, don't read those other books. Why?
Oh, no.
Why? Why? Because there's information that's too scary for me.
They're
Just
extreme, just like our extreme groups we're in now.
Yeah. So how about I read it, and if I think it's nonsense, I won't follow it. But if I find information in there that actually connects to events in the Bible that are talked about in the Bible, Enoch and these events are talked about, sorry, I'm going to read it all. That's why I get so sick of people like, oh, I'm not reading that. Why? Maybe you'll find something. I read a Quran.
Right. They're going to be like, it wasn't canonized. I'm like, you realize the people canonizing the Bible are the same people who are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like right up there.
So it's like this. It's like you go, oh, this book has been messed with. How do you know that? Well, I read this book, and this book told me this one's bad. Oh, well, why do you believe this one? Oh, because I read this book, and this book said this book's good, and they both say that one's bad.
You know what? I got a better one. I just read the article on the black scrying mirror that says, no bueno Bible.
Yeah, the black scrying mirror. They did a fact check, and they fact checked the Bible's BS.
Yeah. Rotors.
Yeah.
Rotors.com. Yep.
Yeah, I looked up Snopes. They said the Bible's false.
Oh, Snopes is better. Yeah. Let me go telegram it to all the Trumpers real quick.
Okay, we got to get back in. All right, we're good. Everyone, let's see where are we at here. Let's see. I got to bring this up.
Oh, we're at the we're at the part.
Okay, let's see. Here we are. No, why isn't this sharing? Why isn't it there? Okay, do it again. Stop. Share screen. That was weird.
Oh,
System's attacking me. Okay, here we go.
Unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
No, okay. I know we only had one sentence, but Steve, I don't know. It's so funny that we even discussed. We're still on the screen, but it doesn't matter. We were going to talk about this chapter because this thing follows you everywhere. This sentence, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it's just funny. I forgot that this was in this.
I did too.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, let's just hit Luke 10. I'm like, all right, let me read it real quick. So. I didn't even get that far enough to chapter 10 yesterday, but I was just listening to it for a little bit, and And I was skimming through it today. Then I really read it again today. I just read it straight up on the Bible app or whatever, and I'm like, oh, look at this. I'm like, that's beautiful, beautiful. It just follows us around. And then you texted me earlier. You're just like, oh man, you're like Barack Obama. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I read. I was like, oh Jesus Christ! Like here we go. So yeah, he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven, and lightning fall from heaven. If you just type that into your old your is it? I think it's Hebrew, the old Hebrew translator, and it'll you just have to rearrange it. I think you'll have to put the fall from heaven and then lightning. It'll pop up as Barrakh or Kah, and then it's Obammah. So it's not straight up like that, but it's a little too similar to really feel comfortable.
It definitely goes up on the
about the
coincidence
character.
shelf.
Yeah, which is everyone.
Hey, we're on camera, by the way, just so you know.
No, yeah, you're good.
Okay. I just want to make sure. But I kind of like us on the side there. I think people like it better than having just a screen that way.
We can deal with that. Yeah, I mean, I bet if you're viewing it on the laptop, it's probably not too bad.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you're on the phone, you just turn it sideways. It gives you zoom in ability. So
plus, it's playing, so you can hear it there too. Our people are smart; they'll figure it out. Okay, here we go.
Well, wait. Just 1 minute.
Yes,
just,
go ahead. Sorry.
And it's as lightning. What exactly is lightning? Lightning is energy. Lightning is plasma. Lightning is we're on a grid system. Lightning is kind of the charge. And it really just makes me think about all these layouts and how they're computer board looking, or you go all the way to Peru. You go to the highest points of Peru where it's impossible to even get people up there. And there's an outline. They call it a temple, but it's an outline of CERN. It's just, or ITER, and they create plasma, both of them. And it's just very interesting. And you got these weapons that the government, the military has. They've been talking about it publicly since about 2001 or 2. It's called the finger of God or something like that, and it shoots out lightning. So they want to be like the Most High, while mocking the Most High, while actually they're in a way they're paying homage to Satan. If he fell like lightning from heaven, what better way to appease your master than by having a weapon that shoots out like straight lightning? And there was a lot of like wicked lightning storms this year. The thunder's been different. I don't know what the thunder's been this year, but I've heard nothing like it.
Yeah,
nothing
no,
like
I agree.
It's kind of scary, but not. You're not supposed to be scared of things in this realm, because it's all good once it all happens. But when you're here and now and in the time, like, yeah, man,
But like we were talking about how we've seen things in the last few years that we've never seen before.
It's heavy.
The lightning storms, some have been off the charts, but there was one that was purple lightning. I have a film of it somewhere. I recorded it. I'll have to bring it up sometime. That's trippy, man. I never saw purple lightning in my entire life. And then, of course, you look it up and it's like, oh, yeah, of course, because of the way that the Earth, the atmosphere is, whatever. How come I've never seen it ever? Just like the fact that the moon and the sun they're always just far enough away I can't capture them in one photo. But I swear the moon and the sun are trailing each other. Wait, the moon's out in the daytime sometimes longer than it is at night. And I don't remember that growing up. Of course, it's always been that way. Whatever. I don't remember that. It's just odd to me.
Yeah.
And then last night, because of the smoke, because of the fires, the moon was orange and then red. It was really cool.
I didn't see that. They gave us the Harvard solar shield treatment last night.
Oh.
And another thing about this lightning stuff, about those like lightning plasma discharge events, they call them sprites.
Right. What is that?
You can just rearrange it to spirits, and like the way some of those move in the sky, it's too. It's an entity or entities or something. It's
That thing's always tripped me out. I've never understood.
Oh,
them.
dude, it sends a chill down your spine once you. I mean, from what I think I understand, when fully understand, but what I think from just what I've looked at last couple of years, if I'm looking at what I think I'm looking at, I don't know, man. We're getting there. Those 7 years, we're either in them or we're literally knocking at the door, just waiting for this guy who got shot down from heaven like lightning to answer. And he's ready, dude. He's ready.
I put it on a different speed so you can see it a little bit better.
Oh, we're sharing. Sorry, I'm just on the Bible app over here.
Oh, sorry. Look at that.
Oh my God! Right?
Like, what are those?
Exactly. What are those? They're upside down beings looking down at us. Look at that, dude.
That looks like faces, doesn't it? I don't know.
That's like, yeah, dude. I'm absolutely.
How
about those stars? How about those stars I shared a couple months ago? There was literally faces of, I mean,
look at that. Look at that.
They look like cartoon like bad guys, from like a demented movie or something.
I see a mouth, a nose, and 2 eyes. Do you see that?
I see that, and I also see a bunch of upside down silhouettes looking like they're descending.
Yeah, like arms.
Yeah,
a body.
Dude. You ever see like Slender Man? Like,
yeah.
Like, fuck. Sorry, I'm not trying to swear on this one.
Bible talk, man.
I know, but good God.
Look at that.
Absolute madness. You could see, dude, if you look at our veins, it's the same thing. You look at our nervous system, it's the same thing. That's an entity.
Maybe that's us. Maybe that's us. Maybe that's what we look like. This kind of looks like flat accord music right here, doesn't it? Maybe a little. What's that? No, I'm saying that shape, whatever those beings are, if we're light beings, maybe we look like these. Is what I'm saying. Maybe our lightened bodies look more like this kind of stuff. I don't know what these are, but if there's some kind of light being coming down, wouldn't we be similar? Aren't we? I get rid of this thing.
You just literally read my mind.
What?
That's funny.
Oh, the ISS fake picture. So I guess that's it on this one. But that's plenty, though. Look at that one. What's worthy?
That's what I'm saying. Look at it move. Come on.
Look at that.
And just...
What was that?
I have no idea.
So, okay.
That bothers me. Like, what else kind of bothers me? That old SpaceX thing when it going over to LA and then it just has like the passenger just getting ejected out of the supposed rocket cloud or whatever. It's
what? They ejected someone from a space shuttle?
No,
what are you talking about?
Dude, you don't remember that? I don't want to be graphic, but remember that giant thing in the sky that looked like a sperm?
I'll tell you what. Let's talk about it. Sky? We'll talk about it next. We'll discuss. Let's go back in the Bible before we start talking about giant sperm. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Share, screen share. Let's see.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, we're back there. Okay, and I think we're still on camera too. So,
we are. We're here. We're good. Yeah. Let me get over to my app. So we were just at Satan as lightning.
I'll back it up just a little bit so we can hear it.
Thy name.
And
he said unto them, I beheld.
What's that?
Oh, and I was just gonna say, does that mean that
Where are we? I can't find my spot.
To see that this is this like a prophecy almost? Is this what happens during that last war, or is this like the possible gap theory event where there was some sort of event that made the earth without form and void? This whole him getting cast out of heaven like lightning. It seems like Satan fell a long time ago.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, can he just be discussing that event, like, because he was around, so he saw it happen? Doesn't mean he was down here. He could have been up there, but he saw it.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Do you think he's like referring to something like that possibly, or is he referring to what happens when that dragon comes up and gets beaten the hell down and kicked out?
Well, that's the wild thing about the Bible and God is he's everywhere at all times, so he could actually be talking about both events.
Yes, right? I like it. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on a second. I'm getting messages from another source.
Who's your source? Who's your source?
Oh, by the way, I could have some more ice water if Mrs. Ceiling Fan Man. So, oh shoot, she sent me a cool picture. I'll try to get that up on screen. Okay, next. Should we go with the where we're at with lightning? Okay.
Yes.
Satan, as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding, in this rejoice not, that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice, because your names are written in heaven.
So that's pretty powerful too, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's saying we have the power to conquer anything once we realize it, and that's some people are like the Jesus within you, because he does. That's the temples in your head. We get all that. He's within you, and so if we can figure out how to think and act and be like he taught us, then we'll have that too. And so that's why he's saying that nothing can hurt you.
Yes.
But at the same time, you can tread on serpents and scorpions and anything in power over all of the enemy. Nothing will hurt you. But don't take it to get all puffed in the chest, right? Because that's what happens. Don't they say absolute power corrupts absolutely? So then what did he say? You should be happy that your names are written in heaven. You're going to see God.
Absolutely. And I would after this, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get this little verse here translated into its original Hebrew, and I'd like to see what definition that they throw in there for serpents, because that could be a misconception, because it could be talking about snakes or whatever, but serpents are dragons and anything reptilian in that nature, if you know what I'm saying. So that's very that could be very interesting. And like I just said, a couple verses above, it's you say his name, you say Jesus's name, and like I said, the entity that made contact with me, for lack of better words, in my dream, it it was definitely serpentine in nature. It certainly wasn't a snake, but it was serpentine like, so it could mean a fallen Nephilim. I feel like most of the Nephilim definitely had scales or something like that, at least the first generation.
Right.
They were said to be higher than the cedar trees. Their heads were in the clouds. That's incredible. That's just absolutely crazy. And if it says we have the powers to, tread on things like that, and then those effed up scorpions that come out of the pit, will be that's cool. That's awesome. And you just got to have that power. Like, if you're there in those last days and it, to withstand, because I mean, just because Jesus was half man doesn't mean or just because he was half God doesn't mean he wasn't, man as well. Like, if he can go in the desert 40 days and 40 nights and figure it out, I'm sure we can do cool things like that too, because he says that we're gonna do. He's like, you guys are, in awe with my works and my, miracles and wonders. He's like, just wait to see what you guys can do.
Yes. That's why since birth they've been making us just not realize how amazing we each are, because once we achieve critical mass, then you can't stop us. So that's why they're trying to shut us down and keep us apart and not let you look at the actual guidebook that might actually help you figure out how to unlock this potential that you have, and remember where it comes from. That's the key. This isn't something about like what he called New Age, which isn't actually New Age, it's Old Age. It's not about unlocking your power. It's unlocking the power of the Holy Spirit within you, because God, you're made in his image. It's there.
Oh, yeah.
We're not using it. It's literally like someone's going to break down your door. You've got a loaded shotgun in the corner, and you just don't bother with it, and you pick up a baseball and you hope you can hit him just right. No, it's right. It's a bad analogy. I'm sorry to relate Jesus to a shotgun, but you get what I'm saying. It's like the most powerful thing that we have is to awaken that in us all, and then they can't do anything to us because there like it says, there's no enemy that can do anything to you. By nothing shall hurt you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And something else that relates to that too, which is more of a living proof of the Bible being the actual word of God, is that people don't really understand like what the temple of God is, and why Lucifer, or why Satan wants to sit in the temple of God, declaring himself to be God. That's kind of his goal. And that doing so will be what is it, a desolation that causes, or I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I'm saying. That's just
Yeah,
like the
I
the
feel you.
the oh hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like heck no. Like
Right.
absolutely not. That's the straw that's gonna pretty much open up the bowls of wrath, and that's probably not gonna be a good day. But yeah, so people don't really understand what the temple of God is, and they're like, oh, I'm going through all these, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, depression, this, sorrows, that. I go one step forward, two steps back, and it's because they don't realize that they are the temple of God.
Two
That's
temples.
and that's why the other side is always gonna try to be out there, trying to put you down, put you back, make you double think, make you make decisions you wouldn't make. And it's because you are the temple of God. And right now they're trying to get themselves inside of you with their little thing, and that'll cause a uh what is the word I'm looking for? The something of desolation. Yeah, it's just going to cause just complete just mockery, and just complete just takeover. And yeah, once people realize that they are the temples of God, you'll realize
Desolation. Child of
the,
Yah. Thank you.
the
Is that the word?
desolation. Well, that's the second word, but yeah.
Oh, we had the
Yeah.
first word. Isolation? I don't know. I forgot.
No,
Anyways, no, yes,
yes,
no, keep going.
yes.
Sorry.
No, well, like I said, once people realize that, they'll
Oh,
understand why we have the powers over the serpents and
breaking news.
scorpions.
Winston has it. The
The
abomination of
abomination
desolation.
of
We have
desolation
a winner.
that causes desolation in the temple of God. Yeah, so that, like I said, 'cause Satan wants to sit there and declare himself to be God in the temple of God.
Yeah.
And
And isn't the pineal everything talks about? It's right in the middle of your head. That's where they shoot this gun at you now to check your temperature. So
yeah, man,
whatever it is, it's obviously right
they,
there between
they're
your two
they're
temples.
they're setting it up. It's I don't think anything that's out right now is Mark of the Beast stuff, but this is
Training.
the stepping stool. Yeah, these are the training wheels, and dude, they're gonna push us down the hill without the training wheels on sooner than later, and it's not gonna. Yeah.
All right, so back into it. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't want to get this taken down.
I know. Let's go.
In that hour Jesus rejoiced in spirit and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes, even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight.
See, and there I'm seeing that
Mm,
all this stuff, that God is real and all this stuff, he's releasing it to the information to, I think, the people that are sitting here in the chat, not to the wise and the prudent and stuff, right? The ones that were
yes.
just babes in the woods, and all of a sudden we got hit with some truth bomb and went, "Wow, this is really messed up. What's going on in this world?" And I think that's us. I saw
Yeah.
I used her word. Thanks for muffed up,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. So
No, absolutely, because it's 100% that, man. Something happened, and we all got shook. Like they were
yeah,
trying to shake us out, and we were like, "Whoa, whoa!" It's like we're exiting now, because we're not playing along with this carnival anymore, because this is effed up. And I mean, that was just, I don't know quite how long you've been like digging in this whole truth thing, but for me, I always understood that. I didn't understand, but I always had a feeling, that something just wasn't wrong. And one day, it all just like clicked, and I was like, wow, like we are in some muddy waters, man. And 20 years old. F. Like
Yeah.
that. Like that's not good.
Yeah, because I started this trying to figure this out. What's the best age to wake up to the nonsense? And I couldn't come up with one because, like, when my parents, now they're not completely on board with everything, but they're well aware of a lot of stuff. And for them, like, you live your entire life in your 70s or whatever plus, and now all of a sudden you realize everything before that was like, messed up, the information that's not easy to try to accept. And at my age, when I'm supposed to like try to figure out how I'm gonna like not have to work and retire and and da 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 and now I realize that like everything, including my last career, was like a lie. And you know what I mean? It's just like everything. And then I go with people your age and my kids, a lot of my sons are your age. And how do you navigate at 20, 25 or whatever trying to like have a normal 20-year-old life is fun when everything's the nonsense going. I don't want to go into detail here, but the nonsense going on in the world makes it really tough for young people to like meet, and it's another way to keep us apart and eventually become a children of men, because if you can't have kids, then the Georgia Guidestone's coming to play, I guess. Okay,
Yeah.
we really got off topic. All right, back to the Bible.
All things are delivered to me of my Father, and no man knoweth who the Son is but the Father, and who the Father is but the Son, and he to whom the Son will reveal him. And he turned him unto his disciples and said privately, Blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see.
Okay, so this is one that'll really kind of trip people up, because there are, again, I understand if we're made in God's image and some of us are men and some of us are women, we both have to come from God. I don't quite get the whole thing there. Let's just move on from that. But don't get lost in the names, but because maybe this was one of the grabble things. But I talk to God as my Father, and I think of myself as his son. And since Jesus was male, I think of him as his son. And so whatever this entity was that was here on earth, I believe that really happened. Whatever he looked like or whatever his name was, he went through those tribulations for us for two reasons: to show us the way out. You're going to have to get through some tribulations to get out, and he suffered to show us it's okay if we end up suffering, because that's partly the reason he was here, to show us that's we're going to have to do.
Dude. Yeah.
Second, he paid the check because we were born into sin. It wasn't our fault. But when we wake up and we repent and realize he did that for us, he's like, all right, I got you on this one. But from here on out, whatever you do, it's on you. And so, yeah, you can wake up and you can repent and you can become a great Christian, but you can start sinning, and you're going to have to just, explain yourself one day when this is all over. And that's how I live my life now. I'm like, okay, I've already gotten, hopefully the check's been paid for anything else in the past. And God says, once you wake up, it's worse for you if you start messing up. So I'm going to do my best to stay on his good grace and help other people do that. And then we get the world that we wanted. And also at the same time, when I meet him, I don't have to explain a lot of things. And if I do, I can say, well, but don't forget about all these things, I guess what it says is we're all due correction. I want as least amount as possible. And if there's wrath coming, I want to kind of, just like that Sodom and Gomorrah guy, just where he says, hey, we're out of here. Just watch out for yourselves. You're not going to be good here. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. And another thing that Jesus showed us here is that, besides the whole trials and tribulations part, because, you just banged that out of the park. But, especially what we're going through right now with this whole situation, you come as a man, you die as a man. Your analogy that I actually heard earlier is, let's say we're caterpillars. We're in the caterpillar state right now. You don't see caterpillars going around trying to upgrade themselves, getting all jabbed up so they can become a better caterpillar. They know they have to do their thing to go to sleep for a little bit, and they come out as butterflies. You come as a man, you die as a man. You go into to a sleep for a short season, and then bam, you meet the maker, essentially.
Mhm.
Whatever happens from there on is on your slate. And it's like we were saying before, now the prayer bombs we have, now's the time to start getting on them. And yeah, a lot of people have just been falling away lately. Maybe
Mhm.
this is a decent time to talk about that line in the sand thing, because that has just been so prevalent with at least in my life the last year and a half, 2 years or so. I mean, it was happening. You could tell where people were standing a little before, but
Right.
now there's no on the fence. You're either over here or you're hanging out over there. And like 2020, the whole thing, people getting there, going to the doctor twice, we'll call it that. Those people, they're clearly on one side of this line in the sand, and then there's us. But the thing is, our number isn't really settled right now. People aren't going to get their thing and come over back on our side, but a lot of people are falling away right now.
Yeah.
Regular people I thought were good
Yep.
people, and probably are good people,
Oh,
but
they are. They just, for
they're being
whatever reason, yeah.
being played. Yeah, the devil is like I said, we are the temple of God.
Mhm.
For him to penetrate
I,
us,
I
he's
had
gonna
one
have to
today.
tempt us. He's gonna have to tempt us,
I had one today. One
and
of
he
my
knows.
last only friends left, and he was over, and he told me that he took the thing because he wanted to travel. And so exactly like you say, we have free will, but we have to give the consent. And so it's the carrot and the stick, or whatever you want to call it, and they're dangling things in front of people, just like the devil's supposed to do, and tempt you. And he took the bait. Hopefully he got sailing, but still, it's training grounds. Whatever this last thing we went through, I believe next year it's going to be more intense.
I think it's going
uh,
to intensify into next year. I
yeah,
think
absolutely. Yeah,
they've
if
already, they've
before the
already
end of
turned it
this
up.
year. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, they're going for
Yeah.
88 miles an hour by the end of
Yeah.
next year for
So
sure.
so exactly why I felt you had 100% we should do this is that things are amping up on their side, and we need to amp up on this side, and we need to remind people why we're here. It's fun to have fun, and it's great to learn a bunch of things, and learn about the correct history, and try to
Yes.
prove what the shape of the earth is, and all those are wonderful. But don't forget why we're here. At least that's why I'm here. At least that's the purpose I feel, because I never talk like this. In fact, I would probably make fun of someone that talked like this, right? And I'm that guy now, because if I hold this inside and I don't say it, I definitely believe I'm going to have to answer that one when I meet the maker. He's gonna be like, dude, I gave you all this information. I made you so you could, like, put a decent show together, and you decided not to do it. Why? And I don't want to have to answer that question.
I
And
feel
so
that. Yeah.
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 So all right, back to the Bible here. Where are we? Let's see.
We're
For I tell
10:24.
you,
Let's see. I'll back up a bit so we can find the
and
place.
he to whom the Son will reveal him. And he turned him unto his disciples and said
Oh, here we are.
privately,
Here we are, 23.
Blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye
Yeah,
see.
we're blessed that we
For I
can
tell
see
you,
this.
that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them.
And again, that's
You wanna pause
referencing,
that?
like, yeah, that's referencing that same thing I was talking about before. It's another chapter. Because as you know, when people are in these, what do they call them? What are these books? The you had it,
Gospels.
Gospels. So a lot of times they talk about the same things from different, viewpoints.
Yeah.
And there it is again, that
Hmm.
there's a lot of people that have been wondering about this time, and actually almost coveting the fact that we get to be in it. And yet here we are going, why us? When we should look at it the other way around. There's people going, why them? I wanted to do it. So yeah. What were you gonna say?
What was I gonna say?
Oh,
Just
sorry.
no. You're good. I got it now. It's yeah, the people that can see and the people that can't see. It's like I was just talking about the whole line in the sand. But if you read Revelations or Revelation, whatever, I think one of the first passages, it might even be the first passage. It's blessed be he who hears the words of this book, or something along the lines of that. So Like even just picking up your Bible and reading that, it's like, whoa, it's a message to you for the reader that has
Right.
lasted times and time again, over and over. you know it's just yeah. And if you could see the things that at least if you could see the stuff that I've seen, you'd fully understand that this is not just a physical matrix battle. This is a spiritual battle. It's a battle for your soul. Like I said, if we're the temple of God, we don't ye know that ye are the temple of God. Like that's what Jesus said. I'm gonna you know Jesus for 100. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm taking that. I'm taking that because
Yeah.
if he's trying to get up and hijack the creator, hijack us, you know, turn you into an abomination that causes desolation. You know why he does that, so he can wipe his hands clean. I didn't do
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Your guy did that. It's
Yep.
nefarious. I don't want to get too off this, but yeah, it's and if you could
No.
see, and if you could see that, like fair play, good for you. Like, cause that's what you really need to be aware of. It's not about your physicality. It's about controlling your soul, controlling your thoughts, controlling the stuff that they say is just science and magic, or not magic, but we should be lucky we have consciousness. Like, no, consciousness is a blessing. A consciousness is part of the breath of life. It's part of the word. God created everything with a word. It's still going. Like that's how.
Right.
It's a. I don't know the word, but it's still going. We're still here.
And once again, truth in movies,
Mm,
lies in TV, whatever. So what? Being John Malkovich, they controlled him by being in his pineal gland head, and then you can go to my favorite. I used to watch Supernatural. I stopped watching the last season because they made God an idiot, and Satan and his son and the witches and the demons were the heroes. So I stopped watching it. But I learned a lot on hopefully how to fight those creatures because I pretty much think a lot of them do exist. But in any case, what they would do in that show is when an angel wanted, or even Satan himself wanted to take over a vessel, as they called
mm-hmm,
it, they had to give them permission, right? They had to give them
mm,
consent. And then once one was in there, you had to get it out. No one else could, another one couldn't get in there. And if you did it wrong, it wouldn't just get out, it would kill the person it was in. And I used to, now that I woke up to everything, I feel like that was a metaphor as to like, if you allow in, say, a demon or Satan himself,
mm.
eventually is death. Because when he comes out, which he will, goes somewhere else, that person dies. And so it's to me the same thing. Like I think that one of the final battles they had to have one of the angels inside one of the brothers and a devil in the other or something. So it's like that's kind of how I feel. It's the same choice. You're eventually going to either discover what's going on this screen and have your own revelation and make that connection if you haven't already and realize all the power of prayer and stuff works, or you're going to be tempted and squirrel. And next thing you know, we might not see you because you're on a different path than this.
Mm,
I hope that we
absolutely.
all end up in the same place, wherever that
Yeah.
is. All right, here we go. And by the way, sorry, Rockfin, I can't see that as I'm on here, but Mrs. Silly Fanman's in there. If you have any questions, she'll let me know. So, okay, moving on.
Boom.
And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? He said unto him, What is written in the law? How readest thou? And he answering said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. And he said unto him, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live.
All right, pause it there. Any thoughts, or we're good?
No,
He's basically just saying, hey, how do I do this? And he said, and this is what we've talked about before. Whether or not you believe in Jesus or the Bible, if you do the teachings, which are know that God exists and love him with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love the person next to you as you would love him and he would love you. And if you treat him well, he's going to treat you well and vice versa. And he just says, do that. Right?
Mm.
It's
You
pretty
sh-
easy. You think?
It's not. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to, you know, get candles around a circle of salt. You know,
No.
it's
You don't
pretty
have to do
simple.
some CERN dance with a bunch of like
Yeah,
goat
you
people.
read
You
my
don't.
mind. Yeah, you don't have to dig a. You don't gotta dig a tunnel through the Alps.
Oh
You know.
shoot! Oh my goodness! Yes, you don't have to do any of that. And
Yeah.
here's my one of my favorite things that happens with Jesus coming up is because I've made this comment before.
Mm.
Like I get funny thoughts in my head. I would think like if I went to a party and Jesus was there, it would kind of suck if you're trying to like hit on the ladies because when he talks, if you ask a question, you go, "Hey Jesus, what time is it?" He goes, "Let me tell you a parable, Stephen. There was a man that one asked walked down the road and he picked up a shoe and it's like, oh my God. And because all the women would be like, oh, he's so deep. But he's trippy that way because that's what he means when he says those that have ears and eyes, they're blessed. Because if he just tells you, hey, don't do this, a bunch of people will go, screw it. I don't care what he says.
Right,
But if he tries to say, look, this situation happened in life and this is the outcome. What do you think? And then maybe you go, oh, I see what you're saying. And that's why he does it. But it's so freaking funny because when you ask him a question, he answers them. But a lot of times he goes on a story, which I dig, because I like telling stories, obviously. I like telling jokes and stories.
Mm.
But you see that what I'm saying, Stephen? That
No,
funny?
100%. 100%.
There was a man, he bought a fish. He went to a all right. Let's go back into it. So he just asked him, what can I do we'll back it up here. Let's see. Okay.
Right. It kind of seemed like he was being a wise
And with
guy
all thy
too.
soul,
Yeah.
and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. And he said unto him, Thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live.
Mm.
But he, willing to justify himself, said unto Jesus,
Smart ass. Yeah.
And who is my neighbor? And Jesus answering said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment, and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him, and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him, and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him. And whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Which now of these 3 thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And he said, He that showed mercy on him. Then said Jesus unto him, Go, and do thou likewise.
And then Jesus dropped a mic and walked
Yep.
away.
Yep.
Right?
I would have been like, wow.
Shoot.
And I've always, through Catholic school, they kind of, like I said, they didn't really teach us the full teachings of the Bible and whatnot, but they always kind of repeated this one. And I always did enjoy, when they had like their little cartoon or whatever, depicting what happened. And it was always, it was always good,
Yeah. So basically what we got from this, a lot of information in here. But so if let's see. So he says that this guy, he gets attacked, left for dead. And the first person to come by was a priest. And he just walks past him. A Levite, which is another priest, basically another the ones that were the higher religious.
Yeah,
He just walks by him too, right? Yep. They're all set, yeah. And then this is where you get that word "good Samaritan." So the good Samaritan, see, everything comes from the Bible. He saw him, and what did he do? Well, first of all, I thought this is interesting because I've been deciphering, trying to figure this out because he goes and he bounds up his wounds, and he pours in oil and wine. That's interesting. I mean, I know different ailments or in healing things, but I've never heard about oil and wine. So I'm going to look into that because that's interesting that he would have done that, poured it in the wound.
Mm.
So unless that just means he's drinking the wine, he poured in the oil and he drank. I don't know, but interesting. So then he put him on his own beast and took care of him and even gave him money and said, if he needs any more, I'll come back and pay you, which is awesome. He was a really good Samaritan. So
Yeah,
this guy says, so
it's
who
all about
was
loving your neighbor, like you just said a couple of
exactly,
minutes ago. It's good stuff.
exactly. So he said the neighbor is the one that showed mercy. And he said, just do that. Once again, love thy neighbor, take care of each other. And then
You
you
know,
won't have to have someone taking care of you for you, right? You'll do it yourself.
yeah, we need a lot more of this and a lot less of Karen self-policing
Mm-hmm.
communities, for fake things. You need more people just looking out like, hey, you need a hand, I got you. And another thing is too, a lot of people have a hard time putting their hand out, and accepting the help. And I really wish a lot of people would just learn to take help when help is right there, because like you said, the dude who oh, don't worry, I'll be fine, I got something coming on the way, and then it just never comes, and you're like, hey, what happened? I was good. I went to, I repented, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, dude, I sent you X, Y, and Z, and now you're asking me, like where were you? It's like, dude, I tried to help you in every which way. It's so it's a two-sided thing where people have to, especially nowadays, because they have everyone, even before this whole thing happened last year, they had
Mm-hmm.
everyone bugging out on their neighbor, always, oh, they're up to no good, this, that, and the other thing. It's just like, dude, just sit back and enjoy life and stop trying to, press what you think other people are doing into your brain into reality, because that's a real thing. You could just think a whole scenario and then bam, it happens to you. You're like, wow, that kind of stunk. It's just very interesting. But yeah.
And real quick, Eugene 12. I am aware of Mandela effect changes in the Bible. If there's some in here, if I notice them and I mention it, I will. But if I've missed some, because there's so many now, my email is ceilingfanman2020 at Gmail. Feel free to send it to me there. I'll be happy to look over because I always like to make sure that I've noticed a change here and there. So, okay, moving on. Let's finish this out here. Oh, this is a cool story coming up too. I like this one.
Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village. And a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. And Mary hath chosen that good part which shall not be taken away from her.
Okay, so a couple cool things I got in this. So they go to this village, and in fact, there's nursing homes out in the areas called Martha and Mary's, and I didn't know it came from this until I started reading. And so these two sisters, one of them's Mary, and there's a lot of discussion to this day by people that have been in depth in the Bible as to whether or not Jesus and Mary were a couple. There's been a lot of speculations throughout the years because she's always there at these really big moments. But this is the moment she meets him, and she's mesmerized. She literally gets down at the ground at his feet and starts washing his feet and wanting to hear every word that comes out of his mouth. See, I told you, it sucked to be at a party with him because everyone would just be over there. But it'd be fun to listen to him, I guess, too. I'm trying to, make it funny. But so it's like she was just mesmerized, and her sister's like, hey, can you tell her to get up off the ground and come help me? And he's like, just calm down. I love how he says, Martha, Martha. And you're so worried about the things of life when actually Mary is sitting down because she wants to hear about the afterlife and the real journey in life that we're supposed to have, and you're worried about the little stuff. That's what I get out of this. What do you think?
No, I like that too. It's I'm just trying to think right now. Mary, she like accused of being a bunch of things? Or is
Right.
that
Well,
some,
once again, here I'm going to get us out of this here right now.
whoa.
Once again, they're trying to mess with your thoughts and stuff. When I first heard about Mary, I heard she was a prostitute. That was the first thing I heard. Now I don't know.
I just
None of
heard she
us.
was accused of that. I don't know if
Yeah.
she actually was that. I highly doubt she was, but even if
Right.
she
Right.
was,
That's what I mean. That's what they were accusing her of. I guess you're right. That's what I mean.
yes.
I'd heard that they had said that about her, but I've never read anywhere in that it discusses that.
Me neither.
So I think once
That's
again
just
they're trying to
yeah.
like magician trick us. This was a very important person to Jesus, so let's make her a whore, right? When anytime that anything's good, like his birthday is now a really nasty day coming up soon. Most likely, people think that was actually his birthday, and so anything that's good in the backwards world we live in now, it's the opposite. It's the way I see it.
I mean, I didn't know if it was true or not, but even if it was, it kind of shows that, like, even someone who can be like that, can, come back to the spirit, fall back in Christ and God above,
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that's the whole thing. Even whatever anybody has done in their lives, you can't hide it from God. God knows. So it's like when you wake up and you say, "Oh God, I'm so sorry for that thing I did." He's like, "Yeah, I know I was there when you did it, and I tried to tell you it was stupid, but everything's cool." Like he's not going to be like, you have to make yourself better before you can start talking to him. No, just start talking to him right now because he knows who you are. It's not like he's not going to forget the stuff that you're embarrassed about. Just talk to him now and it'll work itself out. And like Jesus just said, just go do that. You know what I mean? Just stop doing the thing that you know is wrong and go do that and it'll all work out. Don't be embarrassed if you think God's upset with you or whatever. He's not. He loves you. If you're out doing stuff that he doesn't like, fix it. And all your stuff will start getting better. All of it. That's the way this works.
I like that.
All right. Well, geez, we almost hit the post. We're 6 minutes away from 2 hours and we covered Luke 10.
Not bad.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it. Hopefully the chat did. There's still 130 people here. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. Wow.
I like a lot of great people in the chat. I thought they would all hang around.
Yeah. So hopefully we did it in a way that you guys, found it enjoyable. And maybe even if you don't read it yourself, we'll maybe do this again and you come back and we'll hang out and discuss it the way we do. And Steve and I will pick a next passage. It'll probably your turn. And if you want, we can do it on your channel. We'll discuss the backroom stuff. But I like
fun. Your whole little intro thing. This is cool. Let's keep it over here.
Okay, here. I want to see that here. That's enough of that. Okay, everyone. Gosh, this was fun. I had a good time. I hope all you guys did and gals did too. Um, let's try this again. I'm not sure the exact date and time. It'll be sporadic. Check your local listings, and we'll keep you posted. We'll let you guys know. Because, like I said, we made this up on the fly. So, yeah. Anything else, Steve?
No, that's all. I'm good to go. That was good stuff. I
Okay.
hope, like I said, I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed. And I know I've said this a couple of times, but just understand that we are the temple of God, and a great way for the nefarious being called Satan or the devil. He wants to cause an abomination that causes desolation in the temple of God, where he declares himself to be God. A great way to do that is to disguise a cure for humanity via technology, and then once you're in, it's you ever heard that old, I don't know if you listened to like Pink Floyd back in the day, it was an old David Gilmour song. It's
Mhm.
um what is it called? I think it's called oh man, it just escaped my head right now. I think it's
You're
like no
killing me, Smalls. We're ready
no
to
no
end.
no coming out, or man, what is it called, yo? There's no way out, something like that. I think it's called it like No Way Out, and it's just if you listen to it, it really just makes you think that that's kind of what happens once you're
Yeah.
plugged into the matrix, and don't let them into your temple, at all costs, neglect their offerings, don't be tempted by the bride of Satan,
Yeah,
Babylon. Don't
and
do it.
and the thing is everyone make sure you remember that even though according to the scriptures a third of the angels came down, and those are the ones most likely messing with us, 2/3 are still up there with God, and I believe a lot of them around here are birds, hidden as birds, because that'd be hidden in plain sight. But
Oh man.
they're just waiting for you. Don't forget to ask them to join in because they want to help, and we outnumber them. And once we realize who we are, we outpower them, and that's why they're going to do everything they can to prevent that from happening. Don't let it happen. And lastly, I just say, Father in heaven, watch over this family, guide us, give us the knowledge, give us the love and compassion, and bring us closer to you and help us through these times. And watch over our family and friends and loved ones. In the name of Jesus, thank you. I thank you, Steve. I thank you, chat. And that's it. I don't even have an outro. That's it. And we're gonna bounce, as Steve says. So,
That's all, folks.
all right. Good night, everyone.
Good stuff. Thanks for having me.